Hello, welcome to the show. This week I'm not doing a build, but I've got a fairly upscale Acer S7, and this one's having a few little problems, but they're a very high spec machine, quad core i7, 4GB of RAM, two 128GB solid state drives and so on and so forth. Windows 8.1 normally, touch screen, the whole box and dice, and an extremely thin laptop as well. So this particular 13-inch S7 model will be a teardown for this week. So let's tear it down. Okay, so this model's just got a series of screws. They're actually the little security type screw. So a whole heap of those, just easily to get at, all scattered around the back of the laptop. And this one, as long as I've got them all out. Okay, so the back literally just folds off like that, extremely easy. And what we've got here is a couple of fans. One of these is possibly a CPU fan. Huge battery pack, nice big flat battery pack. And we'll start by taking this one out. Okay, so this battery pack, literally just a couple of screws, lifts straight up, extremely thin. Lithium-ion battery, and it's got a connector here. Just insert this head up. There we go. One lithium polymer battery pack, wafer thin, probably 3mm. Fantastic. Okay, we've got a very thin connector here. Actually looks like it goes out to either the power or the screen. Keep taking out screws. Again, another little flat flex connector. Yeah, just a tiny little additional fan doing the airflow from the sides through to the top. Probably going in underneath here. Quite possibly either chipset components underneath under here, or the CPU will be somewhere around here as well. And this will be the fan connector, yep. Another screw underneath the fan connector. Oh no, that goes to either a speaker or a screen. And that's the flat flex. Okay, so another tiny little fan. Okay, those standard little connectors that you normally see on Wi-Fi antennas. Two more connectors here. Alright, so it's a Toshiba module. And I believe, taking a look at that, that is the 128 gig. That's actually two 128 gig SSDs, so 256 gig SSD hard drive, solid state. That's all there is to it. Okay. So a little JST connector. And there we have one Ultrabook i7 motherboard. And there is your i7. There's your CPU. Just take a quick look around. Obviously you've got your CPU here. I would dare say this is your 4 gig of RAM. Across here, I'll get a good look at those in a second. A couple of USB 3 ports. This is an SD card slot. Comes out to a little speaker here. Just attach that. Another large either heat pipe from the chipset, I would say. And yep, I think we want to get this heat pipe off. Got a lot of thermal compound there. See if I can get that off and see what we've got. Well, we've got some sort of socketed chip. And it does look like it's removable. Absolutely nothing indicating on the mirrored surface there. There are some letterings on top and bottom, but it is removable by the look of it. Possibly anyway. Well, I had a go at removing this just in case it was some form of semi-permanent socket, but it really doesn't look like it. It's not moving. So I'll pretty much just give up on that. So a whole heap of integrated circuits and passives and so on and so forth on this board. Main CPU, RAM, probably the bridge, and small connectors for other components of the board itself. Small little JST type connectors and little headers and so on and so forth for the flat flex ribbon connectors all over the place. Okay, so that's the main board and our little hard drive. Pair of speakers. One large shield material shielding this section of the laptop with a massive slab. It's actually a little bit thick to the touch of copper. That's maybe, and it could even be a mil thick. Probably not, but and we have a huge number of screws all the way through this thing. Absolutely huge number of them. Okay, a little flat flex, and there is why so many screws. That is your keyboard. Not like a traditional laptop, single ribbon connector, maybe a couple of screws, slot it in from the front. You actually get to this keyboard from inside the computer, inside the laptop. And yeah, 1,000 tiny little screws holding it in. And the screen on this Ultrabook is actually really good condition. I'm just going to try and retain that as best as I can. Alright, this will be, there's a few more screws. I will take this one out. This is actually a trackpad. And possibly the Wi-Fi module over here, not too sure. Here's your little touchpad, trackpad. Definitely a all aluminium unibody. This is really quite thin, extremely light, but very rigid. Quite well done. Phenomenally rigid. I'm giving that a lot of pressure. It's barely moving. Part of the reason they can make them so thin and light. And then we still have a 13-inch TFT, 13-inch IPS HD display with touchscreen. Fantastic. So there really isn't a whole hell of a lot to these laptops. It's all on this board, and they make them smaller and thinner all the time. Not a hell of a lot of cooling. That's it. That's all of the cooling for the entire laptop. Something so thin compacted in there to keep the chipset and the CPU cool. But it does seem to work at least most of the time. There you go. One Acer S7 torn down. Well, there you have it, a teardown of an Acer Aspire S7 Ultrabook, and as you can see, most of the computer itself is on a single board these days. The hard drive, that little solid state SSD job like that one, I don't think you'd find too many replacement parts down at the local shop for those. Right, not something that you can easily swap out like you can a standard 2.5-inch drive, so you're a bit restricted, or you're going to pay a premium for that if you wanted to change that. And like a lot of the Ultrabooks, and this one definitely the case, the memory's all on board and it's not upgradable. So what you've got is what you've got. So there you go, Acer Ultrabook S7. Thanks very much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and feel free to subscribe, and hopefully you'll join me again in a week's time.